हरे कृष्णा देवी और सज्जनों, आप सभी का बहुत बहुत स्वागत है हमारी आज की इस कड़ी में। दोस्तों, कई बार कोई वस्तु अगर हमें धरोहर में मिलती है तो हम उसकी कद्र नहीं कर पाते, उसे फॉर ग्रांटेड ले लेते हैं। हमारी आज की मेहमान एक 25 वर्ष की युवती हैं। इन्हें भक्ति धरोहर में मिली है, किंतु इन्होंने इस भक्ति को फॉर ग्रांटेड नहीं लिया। इस 25 वर्ष की आयु में इन्होंने अपनी पहली किताब को प्रकाशित किया है। इस किताब का शीर्षक है बिकमिंग योर डिवोटी, अर्थात भगवान श्री कृष्ण के भक्त बनना। और इस किताब की जो भिन्नता है, जो स्पेशलिटी है, वो ये है कि इसमें 150, 150 से भी अधिक फन एक्टिविटीज हैं बालकों के लिए, बच्चों के लिए। किस तरह से 25 वर्ष की युवती न केवल अपनी कृष्ण भक्ति को आगे बढ़ा रही है, अपितु हजारों, विश्व भर के हजारों बच्चों को कृष्ण भावनामृत में आगे बढ़ने में प्रेरणा दे रही है। इतने सारे माता पिताओं को हेल्प कर रही है उनके बच्चों को कृष्ण भावनामृत में आगे बढ़ने के लिए। आइए आज इस युवती से मिलते हैं। और सबसे सुंदर बात यह है कि ये युवती भारतीय नहीं है, ये यूएस की हैं। तो आइए मिले हमारी आज की मेहमान से और जानते हैं कि यूएस की इस युवती को भारत में क्या मिलता है, क्या है वो प्रेम, क्या है वो आकर्षण जो इन्हें भारत की ओर खींच लाता है, और किस तरह से इन्होंने कृष्ण के साथ अपना रिश्ता जोड़ा। आइए शुरू करते हैं हमारी आज की मुलाकात। जुड़े रहिएगा आप हमारे साथ। तो देवी और सज्जनों, तहे दिल से आइए स्वागत करते हैं हमारी आज की मेहमान का, जिनका नाम है गौरांगी गंधर्विका। गौरांगी गंधर्विका जी, आपका बहुत बहुत स्वागत है। हरे कृष्णा।
हरे कृष्णा।
ऑलराइट, सो अपने दर्शकों को ये भी बताना चाहेंगे कि हमारी आज की ये इंटरव्यू थोड़ी सी भिन्न है, क्योंकि गौरांगी जी हिंदी में बात नहीं करती, तो मुझे इनसे अंग्रेजी में संवाद करना होगा और फिर ये जो कहेंगी मैं आपको हिंदी में अनुवाद करके संक्षेप में बताने का प्रयास करूंगी। सो गौरांगी, आई टेक दिस अपॉर्चुनिटी टू वेलकम यू फॉर दिस वंडरफुल लिटिल मीटिंग ऑफ आवर्स, which is called as एक मुलाकात कृष्ण भक्त के साथ, which literally means a meeting with a Krishna devotee. Welcome.
Thank you so much. I'm so honored and grateful to be here with all of you.
Thank you. Thank you. You are joining us currently from Florida, Alachua. What's the time right now over there?
Oh, right now it's 9:30 a.m.
Okay.
Yes.
And what is Gourangi normally doing at 9:30 a.m. when she's not talking to us?
Well, usually I'm actually here in the Krishna house, which is like an ashram and a center for bhakti yogis, and also
Right.
many young people are here. We're all like students, so
Right.
we have our Mangal Arti, then our class,
Right.
and of Srimad Bhagavatam and Guru Puja and our
Right.
Arti, and then we have breakfast. And right now, if it's not the weekend, I'll be studying.
Oh, okay, okay, yes, of course. So, गौरांगी जी ने अभी बताया कि वो जहाँ पर इस वक्त हैं वो एक मंदिर का वातावरण है, और वहाँ सुबह सवेरे वे लोग मंगल आरती और सारे सुबह के कार्यक्रम करने के पश्चात इस समय वो अपनी पढ़ाई कर रही होती हैं। गौरांगी दरअसल अपनी बैचलर्स की डिग्री भी परस्यू कर रही हैं इस वक्त, और उसी की पढ़ाई वो कर रही होती हैं। सो गौरांगी, at this point of time, you're live and you being watched by a lot of people across the globe, and a majority chunk of that people is from India, the place that you love. So how do you feel at this point of time?
Well, I feel like I'm just maybe outside, I'm white or Bideshi, how everyone says, but I'm like, no, I'm Deshi. I moved to Mayapur when I was 7 years old, and so I've been living in India for most of my life, and so for now I'm 25, so almost like 18 years I've been living in India, so I feel very connected to
Wow.
to our audience today. And I mean, I really love Mayapur so much. And I think it's like the best place in the entire world. And there's nowhere I'd rather be. Like, it's very hard for me to leave India, to leave Mayapur and go to like America or other places. Like, yeah, my heart is always hurting when I have to leave. And like before, I wouldn't want to go out on holiday. I was like, oh, I just want to stay here in Mayapur. I want to stay here in India, like forever.
My God, what you just said really touched my heart. I mean, dosto, this thing that you said, that you're not Videshi, but you're Deshi. I think you're more Desi than a lot of us. So that's really wonderful, and that's the reason you're here with us today. तो दोस्तों, गौरांगी जी कहती हैं कि वो अपने आप को विदेशी नहीं मानती, देशी मानती हैं, हमारे हमारे इस देश का, हमारी इस सभ्यता का एक हिस्सा मानती हैं। और ये कह रही हैं कि तकरीबन 7 साल की आयु से ये यहाँ हिंदुस्तान में मायापुर में रही हैं, और इनका हृदय हमेशा मायापुर में ही रहता है। और जब कभी भी इन्हें हिंदुस्तान छोड़ के अमेरिका अगर जाना पड़ता है, इन्हें बहुत दुख, बहुत खेद महसूस होता है। So, Gourangi, you just mentioned you love Mayapur, and I know that. I mean, I see that on your status as well, that Mayapur is the best place to be in. And a lot of people in India here have not yet been to Mayapur or have not seen Mayapur. So if you were to invite people to Mayapur, how would you do that? What's that one thing, or what is it that you would say they should come to Mayapur for?
Oh, this is like a hard question because Mayapur is just so amazing. So, I mean, everywhere I go, whoever I speak to, I always say, you have to come to visit Mayapur, it'll change your life. You know,
Wow.
like, it's so nice to live. Like, the temple is the center of the whole, community. And it's now like the TOVP, which is going to be the biggest, ISKCON temple in the whole world, and the dome is actually the biggest dome of architecture and monument in the whole world. So, and we have the best CDs like Panchatattva are so merciful, and the largest CDs. We have Radha Madhava, Nrsingadev to protect us, and we have a Goshala, so for cows, we have like hundreds of cows. Then also just I love being in Mayapur because everyone there is, bhakti yogis. So they're very committed and dedicated to their spiritual, their Krishna consciousness. So like everywhere I go, like it's very hard not to think of Krishna because everything's like for Krishna in Mayapur Dham. And Mayapur is actually known as the land of mercy. So it's like the most, merciful place to be. And I mean, I just love everything about Mayapur. There's always kirtans going on, and everyone is just so like kind. And the festivals are amazing. There's, how they say in spiritual life, like every step is a dance, every song, every word is a song. So this is Mayapur. There's so many festivals. Like you will never have, oh, I'm bored. Like, oh, there's nothing to do. No, there's always some, service to do for preparation. We're going to make a flower outfit for the deities. And there's just so much to do in Mayapur. And yeah, it's amazing. I could go on talking about Mayapur for so long.
Excitement in you right now when you say this. And honestly, if they ever have an ambassador for tourism Mayapur, I think you are an apt choice for that. So दोस्तों, गौरांगी ने अभी हमें बताया कि मायापुर एक ऐसी जगह है जो आपके हृदय को परिवर्तित कर सकती है, आपके जीवन को परिवर्तित कर सकती है। वहाँ की हर कण कण में कृष्ण है, और वहाँ की हर चीज आपको कृष्ण के बारे में और उनके और करीब लेकर जाती है, उनकी और याद दिलाती है। और बहुत बहुत सारी चीजें इन्होंने कही, पर मैं आपको संक्षेप में ही बताऊंगी। बहुत सुंदर इन्होंने जो बखान किया है मायापुर का। So, Gourangi, take us back to your childhood, the time when you were born, and probably you migrating to Mayapur, and maybe we'll speak more about that in detail then.
Okay. Well, I was born like in the United States, and then I was here for, like 6, 7 years. Between my parents are from South America, from
Yeah,
Colombia and Argentina. So I was between here and Mexico for like the first 7 years of my life.
right.
And then actually, my father he went to Mayapur, and he called my mother and told us, come, you have to come visit Mayapur. It's just so amazing. It's so beautiful. So we were supposed to go only, I think, for like 3 weeks, 1 month to visit. It was for
Yeah,
when Panchatattva was getting installed in Mayapur.
yeah,
So we said, okay, I was 7 years old. We went to visit for just like 3 weeks, 1 month, and we were supposed to come back to United States because this is where our home was. And then we
right.
just fell in love with Mayapur that we didn't come back. Like we didn't come back to like America. So my mother came back and they sold everything, and then we moved to Mayapur.
Really, my God. So you were to go there for 3 weeks, and you decided to settle there and stay there forever.
Yes. The best decision that my parents ever made.
वाह वाह. सो गौरांगी के पिता एक बार मायापुर जाते हैं, और उन्होंने अपने परिवार को वहां बुलाया. जैसे कई बार लोग कहते हैं बहुत सुंदर जगह है, आप भी आके देखिए, घूमिए या इसका आनंद उठाइए. और तब ये तकरीबन 3 से 4 हफ्ते के लिए मायापुर जाने की सोच कर आते हैं, किंतु फिर वहीं के होकर रह जाते हैं. और इन्होंने फिर अपनी जो भी सामान था यूएस में, उस सारी चीज़ों को इन्होंने बेचना शुरू कर दिया ताकि ये हमेशा के लिए मायापुर में रह सकें. और गौरांगी कहती है कि ये इनके जीवन का सबसे अच्छा निर्णय था. द बेस्ट डिसीजन ऑफ देयर लाइफ वाज coming and staying in Mayapur. So, and why do you say that? How has it been growing up in Mayapur? What's that childhood been? Because uh, a lot of our viewers today are actually from metro cities, and city life is so much different than definitely so much different than Mayapur life. So what was it that you so relish and you so fondly remember of your childhood?
I mean, yeah, just I keep saying like the best, like just I feel like was gifted like this blessing
Yeah,
from Srila Prabhupada and my spiritual master and Krishna for giving me this best childhood that I could like ever ask for. And yeah, I've never lived, like in a city, but I mean, I visited Mumbai and it's definitely like a very different experience. And in Mayapur, it's just, I mean, we're pretty much, it's like very, like, like we're in the village, and I mean, like beautiful nature, walking barefoot and going on parikrams. So
yeah,
for me, like I love, yeah, parikrams so much. And, I would always be like engaged in some little service. So we would decorate, Radha Madhava's, if some festival is coming up, then we will be decorating and, helping doing the outfits, even when I was like very small. And then also doing dramas and like always being in kirtans and going on spiritual like safaris, like tours around India, like more parikrams. I just
right.
like kirtans, and just there's so much like that Mayapur offers. And there's so many families actually living in Mayapur Dham
Yeah.
because it's a like there's so many activities to do. It's very, yeah, amazing.
Wow, wow. So you mentioned about parikramas, and I just want to ask you: is Mayapur the only place in India that you've been to, or have you traveled to other parts of India as well?
Oh, I've been to, okay, so yeah, Mayapur, Vrindavan, Jagannath Puri, also around South India. I've gone to Tirupati and walked up the mountain to see Balaji. and yeah, Ambika Kalna. So yeah, quite a lot of places.
I think you visited more places than a lot of us have visited here. That's wonderful. And uh, so you currently, uh, I also want to understand from you that uh, you were born in a devotee family, right? So you saw that culture of growing up in a devotee family right from your childhood. And when was it that you made a decision as an informed adult that you wish to continue and walk on this path of bhakti as well, or was it that this was a decision which was in you from the very beginning?
Well, actually, yeah, as you were saying, just because I was, kind of born into Krishna consciousness, because my parents were all, yeah, were devotees, are devotees. So then, but I still heard from senior devotees and my spiritual master that you still have to make the choice, the decision to become a devotee.
Yeah.
So I would say that I became more serious in my Krishna consciousness, and made that decision, like I want to this to be, like my spiritual, like serious practice in
Yeah.
Krishna consciousness, when like my spiritual master, His Holiness Jayapataka Swami, he got a stroke when I was 11 years old. And
Right.
because he's been such a strong, I mean, he's the strongest pillar of
Yeah.
Krishna consciousness and inspiration in my life. So
Right.
that really made me more serious. Like I need to take this, like I need to take Krishna consciousness more seriously.
Mm.
So I was 11 years old, and then I got to do a lot of service with him. Like I got to serve him, and but also, I mean, I think because I had these beautiful experiences, like in Krishna consciousness from, since I was born, that it was so easy to make this decision. Like, why I didn't want to look anywhere else, or,
Mm.
oh, maybe there's something outside that will be better. Because I was so happy. I mean, I'm still so happy. And
Yeah.
to be in Srila Prabhupada's movement, like in ISKCON. So it was just like, yeah, the best decision I had. I mean, the easiest one. I didn't really have to think much. It was just like, this is the best. Like, I'm so happy here. And, like, there's no use looking anywhere else. Like, this is it.
Right, right, right. ब्यूटीफुल. सो दोस्तों, गौरांगी ने अभी ये कहा कि जब इनके जो गुरु महाराज हैं, एक बार उनकी हेल्थ बहुत ज़्यादा बिगड़ गई, उन्हें एक स्ट्रोक हुआ, और तब ये 11 वर्ष की थी, 11 वर्ष की आयु थी इनकी, और तब इन्हें वो महसूस हुआ कि इन्हें भी इस चीज़ को अब बहुत सीरियसली ले लेना चाहिए, क्योंकि कई बार जो चीज़ आपके सामने होती है, जैसे हमने शुरू में कहा, आप कई बार उसकी कद्र नहीं करते, और फिर उस भय से कि ये मेरे पास से कहीं चला ना जाए, आप उसकी कद्र बहुत अच्छी तरह से करना शुरू कर देते हैं, और इस युवती के जीवन में भी ऐसा ही हुआ है. और so Gourangi, what does being Krishna conscious mean to you? Like, what is Krishna consciousness to you in a simple way, for like a layman? What would it mean to you? How would you say it is?
I mean, I would say it's like a lifestyle. It's not
Yeah.
something, you just go to the temple once a week and, you pray and then, finished.
Yeah.
I think it's just a way of your consciousness, and like whatever you're doing, like I'm a student. I'm not, like I didn't give up my studies,
Yeah.
or it's just about whatever you're doing to dovetail to Krishna's service. So whatever you want to do in your life, you just do it for Krishna. So I think that's what I would, yeah, that's my realization of what Krishna consciousness is.
Wow, that's really sweet. So कृष्ण भावनामृत जो है दोस्तों, ये एक जीवन शैली है, एक जीवन पद्धति है. ये सिर्फ उस 2 घंटे या उस 5 मिनट की बात नहीं है जब आप मंदिर में जाके अपना शीश निवा करके फिर लौटकर घर आ जाते हैं और एक दूसरी तरह से जीवन जीना शुरू करते हैं. नहीं, ये एक जीवन शैली है जो हर क्षण आपके जीवन का हिस्सा बनी रहती है और इसमें आपको कुछ बदलने की आवश्यकता नहीं है। जैसा गौरांगी ने अभी कहा कि ये एक स्टूडेंट हैं, ये एक ये पढ़ाई कर रही हैं और उसे करते हुए भी अपनी भक्ति को साथ में करती हैं। So Gourangi, I also want to understand that was there ever a time in your life, especially in those uh, the teenage years, was there ever a time when you thought, uh, I want to I want to I want to explore, I want to try and see what's more in life, right? I mean, I've seen bhakti ever since my childhood, but there must be something more because the youth around you is so different, or the youth around cities is so different. So was there ever a time that that thought came in your mind? Because that thought does come in a lot of our minds.
Um, well, fortunately, not really. I mean, sometimes I think like, oh, what would what would my life be like if I was not, a Krishna's devotee?
Yeah,
And then I just think like, I just see like blank page.
yeah.
I can't imagine. So fortunately, I didn't have that desire or to like explore. As
And why do you think that that was not there? I mean, why do you think that confusion didn't happen?
I mean, I think, well, especially because of, I mean, I think of the spiritual teacher, like my spiritual master and the devotees that were around me. And I think it all goes back to the same thing, that because like Krishna consciousness is a joyful, it's joyful process. It's not, you know, like of course it's like something we need to take seriously.
Right,
There's certain processes like we have to chant jap. I mean, when you're initiated, you chant 16 rounds of japa minimum. You follow the
right,
four regulative principle, like these processes are like hearing, reading Srimad Bhagavatam.
right.
But like Krishna consciousness is supposed to be joyful. Like we're supposed, like it's a happy process. It's very
Yeah,
blissful.
yeah,
So, I mean, I think because of these like strong impressions, like these positive memories
yeah,
that have been like imparted to me by, my parents and the devotees around me, and like Krishna conscious friendships and senior devotees, I think that's why, I mean, I owe it to the devotees around me and my parents for shaping this
right.
like really beautiful Krishna conscious life that I didn't, have this like
Yeah,
thought to like explore.
sure, sure. That's so wonderful. That's so beautiful. So, दोस्तों, कई बार हम एक द्वंद्व में होते हैं। हमारे मन के अंदर एक युद्ध होता है कि क्या हम भक्ति में रहें, ना रहें, शायद बाहर की दुनिया में ज़्यादा आनंद है। और गौरांगी के मन में वो युद्ध या वो द्वंद्व कभी नहीं हुआ, क्योंकि उन्होंने बचपन से जिस तरह का वातावरण देखा, उससे कृष्ण भक्ति का जो खुशी है, जो आनंद है, वो उन्होंने हमेशा अनुभव किया। और एक बहुत सुंदर बात जो उन्होंने अभी कही वो ये है कि जो इनके आस-पास की भक्तों का जो संग था, उसने इन्हें हमेशा एंगेज्ड या हमेशा उत्साहित करके रखा इस कृष्ण भक्ति में। So you also mentioned right now about the strong support that you've got from your parents and from the devotee community, your friends, and all of that. And obviously, you're a budding leader now. You're doing so much. There's one thought that comes to my mind, and which is, what is that one teaching that you uh, remember vividly, or one teaching that has stayed back with you from your parents, that you feel has helped you shape up yourself as an empowered young person, as an empowered young devotee?
Mm, well, I've never thought about this, like, the one teaching. I think, I definitely think it would be my parents, like seeing their dedication and surrender to like their spiritual master. So, I mean,
Yeah.
we are, my parents and I, we have the same spiritual master. So
Wow.
seeing that, I think that was my, like, that's my driving force in my spiritual life, my Krishna consciousness is
Right.
trying, I mean, yeah, like my connection, our connection to our spiritual master and trying to serve him.
Yeah.
And yeah, because I feel like he and Srila Prabhupada, like they gave us everything. I mean,
Yeah.
they gave us this, you know, this best life of Krishna consciousness and like the most joyful and happy. So I think, I mean, I'm going to try this life to just try to repay them. And I think that's my like driving force.
Yeah. Sure. Sure. Wow, that's so beautiful. So uh, just to add on this, I mean, what's your ambition? I mean, what's your ambition in life?
So my, yeah, my purpose in life is to share this love, like of this Krishna consciousness movement
Yeah.
to others. So especially younger ones, like children.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I'm, yeah, I'm pretty much, I'm going to dedicate my life to trying to inspire children to also make this decision to be a devotee. Because as I was saying, like many are raised in Krishna consciousness or
Yeah.
are interested, but to make that choice, like I want to be, you know, Krishna's devotee. So through many fun activities, I want, like, you know, arranging children programs online or, you know, right, or children activity books and things like that.
Sure. Sure. That's so beautiful. So I have another question, but I just want to paraphrase before I forget whatever you just said. तो दोस्तों गौरांगी कहती है कि इनके जीवन का मूल उद्देश्य ये है कि अपने गुरु की सेवा कर सकें, श्रील प्रभुपाद की सेवा कर सकें, जिन्होंने इन्हें ये इतनी सुंदर धरोहर, कृष्ण भक्ति की धरोहर जो इन्हें दी है, और जो मार्ग इन्होंने चुना है उस सेवा को करने का, वो ये है कि ये बच्चों को, छोटे बच्चे जो हैं, छोटे नन्हे बालक जो भक्ति में आ रहे हैं या उनकी पैदाइश हुई है, उन्हें ये प्रेरित करना चाहती है कृष्ण भक्ति को लेने में, ताकि जैसे इन्होंने बहुत सुंदरता से कहा कि वो द्वंद्व जो इनके जीवन में नहीं आया कि मैं भक्ति करूं या नहीं, ये चाहती हैं कि वो द्वंद्व किसी के जीवन में ना आए। वो डिसीजन, वो निर्णय इतना सरल होना चाहिए किसी के लिए भी कि हाँ, मुझे भक्ति ही करनी है। तो उसी में ये अपने जीवन को सार्थक करना चाहती हैं। सो गौरांगी, यू मेंशन्ड यू विश टू सर्व by inspiring a lot of young children, and why do you want to do that? I mean, why do you select uh, this as your service arena? I mean, why just children, and why not maybe doing some other service? Or there are so many services that could be done, so why does this inspire you so much?
I mean, well, first, since I was very small, I've always wanted to be a teacher. And but I really feel like children like this age, when you're
Yeah.
young, these, like these impressions and these memories and experiences that like you experience are the ones that will carry you on, you know, throughout your life. I mean, I
Right.
can say that from personal experience. Like I remember so many things, you know, throughout my childhood that has what is inspiring me now and what
Yes.
keeps me going. So I feel that it's very important for, yeah, young people, for children to have, you know, these like Krishna conscious fun experiences. You
Right.
know, it
Right.
has to be, yeah, my it has to be fun. And because children always are looking for fun things to do. So yeah, I think this is like my inspiration. I think childhood is like very important age.
Yeah. Yes, it is. Of course, it is. And the samskaras that actually build up in a child's mind at that age is what helps shape up, the individual further. Does it also have to do in some way about how we shape our future leaders as well? Because I'm just thinking that if every child could be so devoted to Krishna right from the beginning, uh, life would be so different, right? I mean, the kind of leaders that we would then have uh, is is going to be so wonderful. I mean, there's going to be integrity, there's going to be character, and all of that in a child who's really gone through that training in their childhood, right?
Yes. I mean, well, yeah, definitely, the leaders that are now were children were children
Yes.
before, and the children of now, like the young people, will be, the future leaders. And
Yeah.
Srila Prabhupada uses this phrase a lot. He said, children and young people are the future. They're the future of our movement, of our ISKCON movement, and they're the future of the whole world.
Huh.
So, I mean, yeah, it's very important. And to like train them, like he also used this phrase, like train them in Krishna consciousness from early childhood.
Yeah.
Like, build, how you were saying, like building their character and
Yeah.
having a strong spiritual foundation. And I mean, yeah, we all know that, young people and children, their brains are very like adaptable, and they can learn so much more, and it's easier to mold, like it's easier to shape our character when we're younger than I
Right.
think when you're an adult, when you're more like fixed habits. And of
Yeah.
course, Krishna consciousness is, the best process, and can be taken up by anyone, child, youth, old person, like anyone. But
Right.
I mean, I just have this particular inclination with children, that they're very receptive age to,
Right. Right.
accept.
That's so wonderful. सो दोस्तों, गौरांगी ने बताया कि एक एक बच्चे को अगर संस्कार बचपन में अ, अच्छे संस्कार मिले, भक्ति के संस्कार मिले, तो वो संस्कार उसके साथ उसके जीवन भर तक चलते हैं। और हमारे आज के जो बच्चे हैं, यही हमारे कल के नेता हैं, यही हमारे आगे का भविष्य है। तो इस भविष्य को अगर हम सुदृढ़ और सुंदर बनाना चाहते हैं, तो इनमें संस्कारों को डालना बहुत बहुत ज़रूरी है, स्पेशली उस उम्र में जब ये फ्लेक्सिबल हैं, जब ये कुछ सीख सकते हैं, कच्ची मिट्टी जैसे कहते हैं। सो this is so beautiful what you just said. And while it's one of the most enjoyable things, I think, to be interacting with children, but it is also a very difficult thing to do, because uh, I hear from a lot of parents how difficult it is for them to manage children, what to say of inspire children to be engaged in devotion or do things which are Krishna conscious. In fact, a lot of our viewers actually write to us, saying, how can I help my child, become more Krishna conscious or become more inclined towards bhakti. So, can you give us some tips as to what can parents do, uh, in their day-to-day life, so that children find it natural to take up bhakti and grow in this process?
Yes, well, I mean, I'm not a parent yet, so I think I'll understand more when I become a parent. But I think, I mean, from a child's perspective, and
Yes.
also I'm like training to be a teacher. So I would say that, I mean, children like to do things when their friends are doing it. So I
Yes.
really think that would be like, if you see your friends are going to this kirtan, or are doing this, or are playing a Krishna conscious game, then you'll want to do it too. It's easier to accept than maybe if your parents. Well, it depends on each child. And when you're,
Right.
you know, it shouldn't also be like a forced thing. You have to chant japa, you have to wake up this time, like very forced, but also
Right.
not too lenient, that not too free that children won't want to take it up. So I think by surrounding them with their,
Wow.
yeah, and also arranging like fun activities to do. Like kids love to do dramas, and they love
Right.
stories. So I think,
Right.
yeah, like creating these fun experiences rather than just focusing on like the rules, and
Mhm.
focus more on like the do's of Krishna consciousness, the you know what can be done. So I like, children love to play, And so you can do like different Krishna conscious games and things like that.
वाओ वाओ सो दोस्तों गौरांगी ने अभी जो कहा कुछ बहुत सुंदर बातें इन्होंने कही। एक तो ये था कि बच्चे जो हैं वो अपने दोस्तों को देखकर, फ्रेंड्स को देखकर बहुत उत्साहित होते हैं। तो कोई भी चीज़ जो आप अपने बच्चों से कराना चाहते हैं, वो अगर हम उनके फ्रेंड्स के साथ उनसे करा सकें, तो उससे एक बहुत बड़ी इंस्पिरेशन मिलती है बच्चों को। और दूसरी एक जो चीज़ थी, वो ये थी कि हर चीज़ को अगर हम एक खेल के तौर पे बच्चे को प्रस्तुत करें, तो वो उनके लिए बहुत प्रेरणादायक हो सकता है। और तीसरी चीज़ जो उन्होंने कही वो बहुत सुंदर थी, वो ये थी कि आप उन्हें रूल्स पे इतना फ़ोकस मत कराइए, पर जो डूज़ हैं, जो चीज़ें कर सकते हैं, जो नहीं कर सकते हैं, उस पे इतनी फ़ोकस मत कीजिए। जो कर सकते हैं, उस पे फ़ोकस कीजिए, और वो जो नहीं करना है, वो अपने आप सँभल जाएगा। You know, what you just mentioned now was something so brilliant. I mean, you said focus more on the do's, which is, you know, the positive things to do, and not so much on the rules. And I think that's so amazing what you just said.
I actually heard this from I heard this from one class. One he was also is called Deva. His name is Deva Madhava Prabhu, and
Right.
he's also a leader, but he's like a young leader, and he was doing classes for. I mean, it was like in Krishna conscious discussion with young devotees, and he was saying that he said focus on the do's and not so much on the don'ts, because then naturally you'll get a higher taste. Naturally, you'll want to do more, yeah,
Right.
like kirtan or these spiritual activities more.
Wow, I think this is so wonderful. This is really amazing. If we can do this, it's so positive as well. And not just for the child, but also for the person who's doing it with the child. I think it's really amazing. Before I ask you the other question, I have an announcement to make, and that is this. तो देवी और सज्जनों, हमारा भगवत गीता डिप्लोमा कोर्स हिंदी में जो है वो शुरू होने जा रहा है। ये भगवत गीता में का डिप्लोमा है, हिंदी में है, और ये निशुल्क है, ये फ्री है आप सभी लोगों के लिए। ये हम कर रहे हैं गीता जयंती के उपलक्ष्य में, जो कि 14 दिसंबर को है। ये वही तिथि है जिस दिन श्री कृष्ण ने गीता का ज्ञान अर्जुन को दिया था। और हरे कृष्णा टीवी ये सुंदर अपॉर्चुनिटी आपके लिए लेकर आया है इस भगवत गीता डिप्लोमा कोर्स की। तो आप प्लीज इसका लाभ उठाएं। ये कराया जाएगा, ये कोर्स कराया जाएगा मधुसूदन विष्णु दास द्वारा कराया जाएगा। और ये एक बीटेक है एनआईटी से। इसकी जो तिथि और टाइमिंग्स हैं वो मैं आपको बता दूं। 18 दिसंबर से हर शनिवार और रविवार शाम 6:30 से 8 बजे इसका आपके साथ ये सेशन होगा। और इसका लिंक जो है वो लाइव चैट में अभी आपको भेज दिया गया है, जिससे आप रजिस्टर कर सकते हैं अपने आप को। तो कृपया इसका लाभ उठाइए, निशुल्क है। खुद भी लाभ उठाइए और औरों तक भी इसकी सूचना को पहुंचाइएगा। बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। So yes, so Gourangi, you were telling us about how we could engage children, and I'm curious to know, how do you engage kids? I mean, what do you guys do, and how do you normally, you know, what are those engagement programs? What happens when you sit with children? If you can take us to that.
Well, I'm doing service in this Congregational Development Ministry, which has like this children department, which we call Bhakti Kids.
Okay.
So we actually during this whole COVID time, then we conducted a lot of online children programs. So
Yes.
recently we had like the Damodar Fun Month. So once a week we would get together, read a pastime about Krishna. We would chant one round, do kirtan, play games.
Right.
And also we did like last year we did the Purushottam challenge, which
Right.
like very like the most auspicious month that comes every like 2-3 years. So we
Right.
had like different levels for the challenge, and in the end the kids got like a certificate and they were very inspired. And we
Wow.
did like a Jagannath summer camp like for 5 days online. So again we watched we visited virtually we did virtual parikram of
Right,
different places, like to do with Jagannath, and we heard
right.
stories, we played games and did crafts, and so yeah, that's like our online platform, and also I and then also like this book,
Of course. Yes,
and
yes.
so we created this book, Becoming Your Devotee, with like more than 150 Krishna conscious activities.
Right. It
Yeah.
looks very beautiful. Have you designed the cover as well?
No, no, I'm not the artist. This one friend did the art, but inside, I mean, oh god, I don't like we did like really colorful
Yes.
for
Yeah.
kids. Actually,
Yeah.
some adults were saying that it's helpful for them to like some basic concepts of
Right.
Krishna conscious, like why do we put on tilak, and so there's like
Wow.
dramas and games and all these things.
Right. 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 So yes, I'm going to ask you more about the book, and before that, I just want to inform our audience about what we just spoke. तो दोस्तों, अभी हमने जो गौरांगी से सुना वो ये है कि इन्होंने इतने सारे इंटरैक्टिव सेशंस किए हैं बच्चों के साथ, स्पेशली कोविड के दरमियान, जो कि एक बहुत कठिन फेज था बच्चों के लिए। और तब इन्होंने जैसा आपने इनसे सुना होगा, अब इन्होंने एक दामोदर जो महीना हमारा कार्तिक महीना गया है उस पर इन्होंने एक एक्टिविटी की थी, जो पुरुषोत्तम मास गया है उस पर इन्होंने एक एक्टिविटी की है बच्चों के साथ। इन्होंने ऑनलाइन वर्चुअल जगन्नाथपुरी की यात्रा धाम परिक्रमा कराई है बच्चों को। तो जैसा आप देख रहे हैं कि बड़ी वो सारी चीजें जो बड़े करते हैं भक्ति में वो सभी चीजें बच्चों को भी कराई है, बड़े एक ट्विस्ट के साथ, एक थोड़ी सी भिन्नता या कुछ अलग करके उन्हें किया है। एंड अभी जो आपने देखा वो इनकी किताब है जो इन्होंने प्रकाशित की है, जिसमें 150 से भी अधिक एक्टिविटीज हैं, और कुछ और जानकारी लेंगे इनसे इस किताब के बारे में। सो Gourangi, if you can tell us more about this book, I mean, is this book something that is a go-to manual or a go-to thing for every parent or for every child? I mean, a lot of parents find it so difficult to engage children, and they don't know how can they, really teach children all of those basics of Krishna consciousness. So can this be like that one-stop solution for every parent?
I mean, I hope so. Basically, like in Mayapur, I was doing these children classes in my home,
Right.
and then we started doing different activities, and then I was like writing it down, and then I thought like, oh, I should share this with others. So
Yeah.
it does have many like the basic concepts of like the processes of devotional service, what it means, what does devotional service to Krishna mean, and why do we follow Ekadasi, or what does tilak mean, and a chapter about like Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda. So like there's like 8 chapters which have 8 themes of these Krishna conscious concepts. And then I kind of combined between like an activity book and also a kind of a school book, in the sense of you have your lesson, you have some discussion questions and exercises like, multiple choice and short answer questions. And then the activity part, which has, different crafts and games and dramas.
Wow.
So yeah, so it has like all these different aspects to it.
Sure. How many pages is the book?
Oh, it's quite a big book. It's
Yes.
250 pages.
My God. How long did you take to write this or put this whole thing together?
This took like 3 years.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it took quite a long time because I don't really consider myself like a writer. It's not my, career path. But so it took some time, and also, my first, and also, I'm studying and all of that. But I mean, hopefully by Krishna's mercy, it could be useful for many parents. Actually, we've distributed more than like 1,000 copies around the world, and different children programs are using it. Like in the Middle East, they
Right.
have like with 100, yeah, 100 children and different places. So it's like it's for parents and teachers and also some adults actually bought in. They said, "Oh, it's easier to understand because it's
Wow.
very friendly language."
Sure, sure, sure. So how can people buy this? I mean, if someone wants to really buy this book, is it available online somewhere?
Oh yes,
Okay.
we have our
Would you
website.
be able to share? Yeah, you should be able to share the link with us, and maybe we can help people with the link. So, a lot of parents who really want to buy the book can do that as well.
Okay, yeah, I sent the link.
Okay, that's wonderful. Thank you. एंड जी, तो दोस्तों, गौरांगी ने अभी बताया कि ये जो किताब है, ये 250 पेजेस की किताब है। इन्होंने तकरीबन 3 साल की मेहनत लगाई है इस किताब को बनाने में। और इसमें वो सारे प्रश्न जो बच्चों के दिमाग में हमेशा होते हैं, जिसे हम अधिकतर बार जिनका उत्तर नहीं दे पाते, जैसे हम तिलक क्यों लगाते हैं, हमें एकादशी व्रत क्यों करना चाहिए, ये सारे प्रश्नों का उत्तर इस किताब में एक बहुत ही सुंदर और सरल शैली में, बच्चों की शैली में दिया हुआ है। तो आप भी इस किताब को ले सकते हैं। इस किताब का लिंक हम अपने चैट में आपके लिए डाल देंगे, तो ताकि आप इस किताब को अगर लेना चाहें तो आप भी ले सकते हैं। एंड yes, I think that's so wonderful what you just said. And how do you come up with these activities? I mean, do you I mean, how do you really make these activities? Because I think it must be quite a task to think of new things all the time. Does it come naturally to you, or is it something that you've developed as a skill so that you can, do this beautiful service that you've selected?
Um, I think it would just be. I mean, I try to research as much as I can and see what's out there. So
Right.
even some, you could say not spiritual games, or I just like, you try to Krishnaize it.
Sure.
Or I mean, yeah, I think it's just I look at lots of children books and just ask friends, and also just I mean really, really think and try to be creative and try to like think how would a child want to learn about this.
Yeah.
And like for example, I mean, I don't know if in India they play this, like pin the
Yes,
donkey's tail. Okay, at least in
we do that.
America.
I've done that many times. You blindfold and then you put the tail, right?
Yeah. So
Right.
instead of that, I was thinking, okay, pin the tilak on the devotee, or like things like that. And
Right. Right. And what's your favorite game of all of these that you've created? I mean, something that you feel really gives you a lot of joy, like when people play it, or probably brings out a lot of laughter when people play it. Which is your favorite one?
um, that's I like a lot charades. So acting out, some like Krishna's pastimes, or because I really love to do dramas a lot, and I know
Right.
children really like to act as well. So actually,
Right.
this game I've played it with children, I've played it with adults, and I've played it with my age, like young people, and
Yeah.
everybody really. I mean, it's really fun.
Wow. Wow. That's interesting. So इन्होंने इन्होंने अभी हमें बताया कि किस तरह से इन इन एक्टिविटीज का विकास करती हैं। तो वो सारी गेम्स जो हमारे आसपास होती हैं, उन्हीं में कृष्णा के तत्व को लेकर आती हैं और कृष्णाइज करती हैं। जो इन्होंने वर्ड अभी इस्तेमाल किया, बहुत सुंदर था। यू स्पोक अबाउट पास टाइम्स एंड शराड्स एंड स्टफ। सो डू यू वांट टू शेयर विद अस व्हाट इज योर फेवरेट pastime of Krishna?
Okay, wow, this one is kind of complicated one. Okay, I'm trying
No,
to trying to think of a simple pastime. Um, well, okay, I'm going to try to summarize this pastime.
sure.
So, I mean, I know once, Radha and Krishna and the gopis, they were like then the Rasa dance, and then Srimati Radharani got kind of upset at Krishna, and then and then all the gopis left with Srimati Radharani, and then Krishna opened his eyes. He was playing his flute, and he saw no one. He said, "Where did everyone go?" So then, and then he was trying to speak to Srimati Radharani, and then all the gopis were saying, "No, no, Krishna, like you made Radharani upset. We're not going to let you see her today." So Krishna was crying. And usually we find that Srimati Radharani or the gopis are like they're always crying for Krishna. But in this pastime, Krishna is the one that is very like he's just crying to have to be with Srimati Radharani. And then the gopis took this opportunity that okay, we're gonna steal Krishna's flute. So I'm really trying to summarize it. So then Srimati Radharani stole Krishna's flute. And then Krishna came back and said, I know you took my flute. And there was like, this debate between the cowherd boys and the gopis. And the gopis were saying, you have to buy this flute. So then Krishna was offering everything that he had. He said, okay, I'll give you pearls. I'll give you these gold bracelets. I'll give you everything. And then they said, no, this is still not worth enough for Srimati Radharani's flute. And Krishna knew it was actually his. And then Krishna said, okay, I'm the king of like Vrindavan. I'll give you Raj. I'll give you the whole kingdom. They said, still not good enough because Srimati Radharani is the queen of Vrindavan. And then Krishna said, I cannot give you anything. Like, I'll give you myself. That's the only thing that I have power to give. And then Krishna put Srimati Radharani's feet on his head. And I just think, it's a really beautiful how, Srimati Radharani's love or the love of Krishna's devotees, it binds him. Just like in the Damodar pastime, how Mother Yashoda bound Krishna. So I really love this name of Krishna, Damodar, because he's the supreme personality of Godhead. He's the controller of the universe, but he's controlled by the love of his devotees. So
so beautiful how you just narrated. It was so sweet, really really sweet. So दोस्तों, गौरांगी ने अभी एक बहुत सुंदर सी लीला का वर्णन किया, कृष्ण और श्रीमती राधा रानी के बीच की जो लीला हुई है ये, और इसमें कैसे एक बार श्रीमती राधा रानी कृष्णा की जो बांसुरी है, जो फ्लूट है, उनका उनसे ले लेती हैं, चुरा लेती हैं, क्योंकि कृष्णा ने उनको थोड़ा सा क्रोधित कर दिया, मान जो उनकी लीला होती है। और फिर कृष्णा अपना सब कुछ उन्हें देने को तैयार हो जाते हैं उन्हें मनाने के लिए, और वो जो बांसुरी है वो वापस लेने के लिए वो नहीं मानती हैं, और फिर वो कहते हैं कि मैं तुम्हें और कुछ नहीं दे सकता, मैं तुम्हें अपना आप सौंपता हूँ, सर्वस्व अपना सौंपता हूँ। और तो किस तरह से भगवान प्रभु जो जिनका सब कुछ उन्हीं का है, पर वो अपने भक्त के प्रेम के बंधन में किस तरह से अपने आप को बांधने के लिए तैयार हो जाते हैं। ये सुंदर लीला इन्होंने अभी सुनाई, बहुत प्यार से सुनाई इन्होंने लीला। दिस इज सो ब्यूटीफुल गौरांगी, रियली, आई मीन इट वाज वेरी स्वीट। And since you've told something that's so sweet, I'm now thinking about food as well, and I want to ask you, do you cook? Can you cook?
I wouldn't say I'm an expert cook.
So you can be honest. I'm honestly a very bad cook. The best thing that I ever make is khichdi, and I don't graduate beyond that. So
I wouldn't call myself, like, wow, like, this is my thing, cooking. But I do like to cook. So and it doesn't taste bad. So no, it tastes nice. So well, when Krishna accepts it. So
wow.
Yeah, I can cook.
And what do you cook? Or what all can you cook, if I can ask you that?
I like to cook like Bengali preparation. So like rice, dal, sabji.
Sorry, what did you say? What sabji?
No, I just said like rice, dal, and sabjis, like Bengali preparations.
And what's like the native sabji, or something very traditional there in Mayapur or in Bengal?
well, very traditional. But these two traditional things I'm not good at making. There's shukta, there's,
Yeah,
shat
yeah,
sabji, so like spinach sabji. Of
right.
course, everyone loves paneer sabji.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, yeah.
Wow, wow, wow. And so you like Indian cuisine? I mean, you've lived here for so many years, so you really like Indian cuisine, or do you prefer Western cuisine? What are your taste buds like?
Oh no, I love Indian cuisine. Just yesterday, actually, in Krishna House,
Yeah.
the center, we had a big feast. Rice, dal, paneer sabji, puri, sweet rice, and
Wow. Wow.
yeah. I mean, I like sometimes I do. I like pizza, pasta,
Yeah.
but I mean, I like Indian food a lot.
Right, right, right. तो ये खाना बनाना जानती हैं, कुकिंग जानती हैं, हिंदुस्तानी प्रिपरेशंस जानती हैं, दाल चावल रोटी सब्जी, और इन्होंने जो बंगाली प्रिपरेशंस के नाम अभी अभी कहा, जो मुझे शायद उच्चारण करना भी ठीक से नहीं आएगा, बट शुक्ता शुक्ता जो है एक प्रिपरेशन उन्होंने अभी अभी कहा। और बहुत सुंदर है कि ये वो सारी चीजें जो इतनी देसी हैं, इतनी हमारे कल्चर से जुड़ी हुई हैं, ये वो सारी चीज़ों को जानती हैं, समझती हैं, उन्हें अपने जीवन में उतारने की इतना सक्षम और अच्छा भरसक प्रयास कर रही हैं। I also want to ask you another question, and I think this is funny, but do you dream? I mean, do you dream, or have you ever dreamt in the night? I mean, do you dream?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Have you ever had a Krishna dream? I mean, or
Oh,
did you ever get Krishna in a dream?
yes.
Do you want to share that with us?
O- Okay, sure. I had a dream when I was like 7, I think, that I still remember very clearly. So I
So,
remember, I don't know why, dreams don't make sense all the time, but I was a small girl and a
yeah.
tiger was attacking me. I don't know, a
Oh,
tiger wanted to eat me. I don't know
right.
why, I was in the forest. And then Krishna came, and Krishna was fighting with the tiger, and he defeated the tiger, and then Krishna picked me up, and then we were like flying upwards, like flying to the spiritual world. So that's one dream that I
Wow. So Krishna was like your superhero, right? I mean, wow, that's so
Krishna like
amazing.
hero.
Wow, wow, wow. This is so really amazing. And I specifically asked you this question because I'd heard a very sweet and a very funny dream from another child. And I just thought of asking you this question. And this one's so sweet as well, what you just said. एंड दोस्तों अभी मैंने गौरांगी से पूछा अगर इन्होंने कभी कृष्ण को अपने स्वप्न में देखा है, तो उन्होंने कहा जब ये 7 वर्ष की थी तब एक बार इन्हें एक ऐसा सपना आया कि एक टाइगर जो है वो इन पर हमला कर रहा है, और कृष्णा आते हैं और एक हीरो की भांति उस टाइगर को पछाड़ देते हैं और इन्हें अपनी गोद में उठा करके फिर ऊपर की तरफ ले जाते हैं. दिस इज सो स्वीट, रियली ब्यूटीफुल. And yeah, another question that comes to my mind is that a lot of youth in India today prefer to go to Western countries. It could be because there's more development there, because there's more opportunity, because there's more exposure. And what's your thought on this? I mean, what would you want to comment or say on this?
I mean, it's funny because I mean sometimes I think like I've heard that now Indians want to go outside, or they're wearing shoes, they're wearing this, and then Westerners are going to India.
Yeah.
So I mean, I've been to both, so I can just say from my personal experience that, I mean, India has such a rich culture, like the most spiritually rich culture. Yeah, connection with Krishna. And that's so much better. Actually, many people think that, money will make me so happy, or, if I come to America, I'm gonna get lots of money. But I mean, many people work from like 8 a.m. till 6 p.m. And I mean, I know in India, or at least in Bengal, people don't work that much. Life is so much more simple. Life is so much better. And so I think like what people think of maybe would be here in, America or UK or the West,
Yeah.
it's not as good as maybe the movies
Mm.
seem to be. I mean, I love being in Mayapur and being in India like so much more than here.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And if you were to weigh the material benefits that a person would get outside, and what you just spoke of, the rich culture, the rich heritage that we have in India, you feel this one outweighs that? Is that what you
Oh,
mean?
yes, definitely. I mean, you can have so many things and just not be, and you won't be happy. Like you find like in the villages, like some people they don't really have much money, but like the children, if you give like something small, they can get so happy. They just play with rocks or a little toy, and so people here, I mean, you can have so much in the world, like so many material things, so much money, but like you can be completely dissatisfied in your heart. So, but at the same time, um, I mean, there's devotees all around the world, so you can be Krishna conscious like wherever you are.
Yeah.
But yeah, I wouldn't like for material benefits. I would definitely say like spiritual outweighs like the material.
Well, I think what you just gave as an example was so sweet. And what I could gather from that is that if your heart is content, then that's the biggest wealth that you can have, right? I mean, and that is something that you probably get from this culture of being connected to the Lord, because that's what really brings satisfaction and contentment to the soul. So yeah, that's so beautiful, yeah. जी, सो गौरांगी से अभी हमने ये पूछा कि कई युवक युवतियां जो हैं, आज भारत के जो युवक युवतियां हैं, वो भारत को छोड़कर विदेशों में जाने का भरसक प्रयास करते हैं, तो इनकी क्या इसके बारे में राय है? तो उन्होंने कहा कि जो भारत की संस्कृति है, जो यहाँ की शिक्षा है, वो वो डेफिनेटली जो बाहर आपको जो मटेरियल उपलब्धियां मिल सकती हैं, उससे कई ज़्यादा कीमती है। और हर हर युवक युवती को इस पर ध्यान देना चाहिए, क्योंकि आप बाहर जाकर शायद बहुत कुछ कमा सकते हैं, लेकिन फिर भी आपके हृदय में शायद संतुष्टि नहीं आएगी। लेकिन अगर आप भगवान से जुड़े हैं, तो आप कहीं पर भी रहकर संतुष्ट रह सकते हैं। तो बहुत बहुत सुंदर था ये जो अभी इन्होंने कहा। एंड I have a lot of random questions for you, uh, but before that, I'm also going to ask you that, um, what inspires you today, to do what you're doing? I mean, what is that one thing that is a source of inspiration for you every day to get up and do what you do?
I mean, for me, it would be like the sense of gratitude for like my Guru Maharaj, and Srila Prabhupada. I think,
Mm,
yeah, my Guru Maharaj is definitely my source of inspiration every day for
yeah,
everything in my spiritual life.
wow. And what does Srila Prabhupada really mean to you? I mean, this question is very, very special also because it's Srila Prabhupada's 125th anniversary this year. So what does he mean to you?
I mean, Srila Prabhupada, I see him as like my savior, and also he's my grandfather. So I mean, I just think if Srila Prabhupada didn't leave India, didn't distribute this knowledge around the world, I wouldn't be a devotee. And I don't know how many more, lives I would have had to wait to meet. I mean, to meet a devotee and to hear about Krishna. And I mean, he's so merciful. Like he could have just stayed in India and just he could have just he's a pure devotee of the Lord. So Srila Prabhupada could have just stayed in India and then gone back to Krishna. But he was so compassionate and he came all the way to America, and he was 70 years old. I mean, usually 70-year-olds, you're already, retiring, but he went alone with just 40 rupees, which is nothing, and came to America just because of his compassion to share Krishna with others. So whenever I think of Srila Prabhupada, I just think I'm so indebted and so grateful to him for giving me this best life that I could ever ask for, you know.
My God, I think uh, this feeling that you have for Srila Prabhupada, I think it's so beautiful, it's so magical, and you've I mean, I could really sense it in your voice, and I really hope all of us who've received it can really be so grateful for what we've received. And thank you for sharing your heart on this. दोस्तों, तो इनसे मैंने पूछा कि वो क्या चीज़ है जो इन्हें इंस्पायर करती है, जो इन्हें प्रेरित करती है वो करने के लिए जो ये आज कर रही हैं। तो इन्होंने कहा कि इनके मन में, हृदय में जो कृतज्ञ होने का भाव है, ग्रैटिट्यूड जो है श्रील प्रभुपाद के प्रति और इनके गुरु महाराज के प्रति, वो इन्हें इंस्पायर करता है। और फिर इनसे पूछा कि श्रील प्रभुपाद इनके इनके लाइफ में क्या मीनिंग रखते हैं। तो इन्होंने कहा कि मेरा जीवन श्रील प्रभुपाद के बिना कुछ नहीं होता, क्योंकि अगर वो अपना सब कुछ छोड़कर विदेश नहीं आए होते तो हमें कौन संभालता, हमें कौन बचाता। तो हमारी उस डूबती नैया के सेवियर, हमारी उस डूबती नैया को उबारने वाले श्रील प्रभुपाद हैं। और 70 वर्ष की आयु में जब लोग रिटायर हो रहे होते हैं, जब उन्हें आराम करने का मन करता है, उस समय श्रील प्रभुपाद विदेश गए। उन्हें जरूरत नहीं थी, क्योंकि वो तो भक्त थे, वो अपनी भक्ति कर सकते थे यहाँ, पर उनके हृदय में इतना कंपैशन था, जो पर दुख दुखी कहते हैं, कि वो औरों को भी कृष्ण भावनामृत देना चाहते थे। और उसी कारण से उन्होंने ये यात्रा की और इतने सारे लोगों को बचाया। और फिर उन्होंने एक चीज जो कही, वो ये थी कि अगर श्रील प्रभुपाद नहीं गए होते तो न जाने इन्हें कितने जन्म इसी तरह वेट करना पड़ता कि कब ये किसी एक भक्त से मिलती, और फिर इनका जीवन भक्ति में अग्रसर होता, और वो इन्हें इतनी आसानी से श्रील प्रभुपाद से मिल गया है। दोस्तों, इस सारी चीज को सुनकर मन में जो एक भाव बहुत बहुत तेजी से उमड़ रहा है, वो ये है कि हमें भी कितना कृतज्ञ होना चाहिए कि हमारा ये जो मानव जीवन है, इसमें हम अब किसी भक्त को मिले हैं, हमें भक्ति का रास्ता मिला है, और अब इस रास्ते को हमें छोड़ना नहीं है, इस पर तीव्रता से आगे बढ़ना है। Gourangi, I tried my level best to say whatever you just said with the same amount of enthusiasm, but I don't think I was able to match even a little bit. And I'm feeling so wonderful and nourished by just hearing what you just said. It was so beautiful. Thank you.
Well, thank you.
And also I wanted to ask you, do you like wearing a sari? I mean, do you like wearing saris? You're wearing a gopi dress now, which is a very traditional Indian thing. So do you prefer wearing Western clothes, or you prefer wearing Indian clothes?
No, Indian clothes all the way. So
But
much.
aren't Western clothes very comfortable? Like, I mean, that's what I hear from everyone.
Oh, I mean, I feel very comfortable with. I mean, there's just so much more variety with Indian clothes. It's just so beautiful. Here, when I do not like going shopping for like pants or t-shirts, like Western clothes. But yeah, but saris and gopi skirts, that's different. So much more
Do you have a large collection of saris and gopi skirts?
yeah.
Wow, wow. And can you drape a sari?
Yes. Yeah.
My God, that's so beautiful. Yeah, really, really. Wow.
Yeah, in my
And
house, I wear sari almost like pretty much every day.
wow, wow. So when you're in the West, and let's say if you're walking out in the street and if you're wearing something traditional Indian, uh, do you feel, is that embarrassing for you, or do you feel like, I'm an odd man out or an odd woman out of so many people? Is that how you feel, or?
No, I don't feel like that. I mean, I walk around with a skirt, with tilak. I mean, outside, go to the shops or study, and I don't feel. I mean, yeah, if it's different, a good different.
Wow.
Like I
Wow.
don't want to. I mean, we don't have to just fit in. Just I mean, we should be proud and happy to be dressed like Krishna's devotees.
This is so amazing what you're just saying. Yeah. So, and what if someone just walks up to you and say, so what are you wearing? I mean, you're looking different, or what do you have on your head? I mean, the tilak that you're wearing, what's that? It's looking different. I mean, what do you do when someone just walks up to you and poses a question like that?
I mean, usually I actually get compliments when I wear like Indian clothes. Like, oh, it's such a pretty like anarkalis or gopis, like so pretty. And I say, yeah, I got this from India. And I mean,
Really?
and then tilak, I just explained like, oh, this is a mark. It's kind of like our spirit, like our uniform as a devotee of Krishna. And
Yeah.
it means like we're dedicating our body, our mind, and soul, everything for Krishna's service, and this, yeah, decorating this body as a temple for Krishna.
Yeah. It's so beautiful, so beautiful. I mean, you're really charging me up with everything that you're just saying, and I think this is so important as well for our youth to hear, because a lot of times we're so embarrassed to wear dhoti kurtas, or we feel it's not just cool, and it's really nice to hear someone who's physically not from India, but who's so proud to wear anarkalis and saris and gopi dresses. My God, this sounds really beautiful. Yeah, thank you, thank you. So दोस्तों, ये साड़ी पहनती हैं, गोपी ड्रेस पहनती हैं, अनारकली ड्रेसेस जो हैं वो पहनती हैं। जब विदेश में भी होती हैं तब भी इसी तरह की वेशभूषा में रहती हैं। तिलक अपने माथे पर लगाकर हमेशा रहती हैं, और ये कहती हैं कि आपको एक एक सेंस ऑफ प्राइड होना चाहिए उसमें, आपको एम्बैरेस नहीं फील होना चाहिए उसमें, और हमेशा ये ज़रूरत नहीं है कि आपको फिट इन होना है उस कल्चर में जहाँ पे आप हैं, या अगर लोग कह रहे हैं कि हमें कूल दिखना है, आपको फिट इन होना है, नहीं। आप डिफरेंट हैं, और आप डिफरेंट हैं क्योंकि आप कृष्ण के भक्त हैं, और इसमें आपको बहुत गर्व महसूस होना चाहिए। This is so amazing what you just said. Yeah, really beautiful. Uh, all right, so a lot more things that I can ask you, and um yeah, these are going to be some random things, and I just want to understand, what you think. Uh, but what if you really won a jackpot for $1 million? What would you do with it?
I would. Okay, there's different projects I would donate to. I would donate to the TOVP construction in Mayapur. I would fund like the Congregational Development Ministry, and then I would hopefully write more Krishna conscious children books, and do have a really nice website so people can find one-stop source for all children activities. And I mean, there's just so many things that could be develop Mayapur, and yeah, just do that definitely.
You'd not use that money to spend lavishly on yourself, or to pamper yourself and all of that?
No, I would keep some that just make sure that I mean, I wish I wouldn't have to work for the rest of my life, and then I could just do service.
Yeah,
But
yeah, right.
I don't want to be rich or anything.
वाह वाह वाह, इट्स ब्यूटीफुल। तो अगर इन्हें $1 मिलियन मिलता है तो ये उससे अ, ऐसे कार्यों में लगाएंगे जिससे सबका भला हो सके। जो टेम्पल ऑफ वैदिक प्लानिटोरियम बन रहा है मायापुर में, ये उसके प्रोजेक्ट में इन्हें इसे लगाएंगी। जो इन्होंने अभी जो बच्चों का प्रोजेक्ट कहा उसमें लगाएंगी। कई सारी और किताबें लिखेंगी सो दैट बच्चों को और शिक्षा और अच्छी राह हम दे सकें कृष्ण भक्ति में जाने की। बहुत 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 सुंदर, वेरी वेरी ब्यूटीफुल। एंड I also want to ask you, uh, if you were to be reincarnated as a character from the scriptures, could be Mahabharata, Ramayana, or any other spiritual text, what would that be?
Like in which pastime? Or you
Yeah,
mean
Yeah, like which character would you want to be, or you could take it as a pastime as well, or which
Oh,
character is it that you would want to be reincarnated as, you know?
I think I would like to in Lord Chaitanya's pastime. So be one of his devotees and dance in kirtan and yeah.
So it had to be in Mayapur, right? You just need a reason to be back there.
Well, it could be Mayapur, and then we go to Jagannath Puri, Vrindavan, and then back to Mayapur.
जी जी। तो इनसे पूछा कि ये अगर इनका कभी जन्म हो, पुनर्जन्म हो, जैसे कहते हैं कि अगर आप कुछ कोई कोई और कैरेक्टर बन सकते हैं हमारे शास्त्रों का, तो आप क्या बनना चाहते हैं? तो उन्होंने कहा कि ये श्री चैतन्य महाप्रभु की एक पार्षद बनना चाहती, जिनके साथ ये भक्तिमय कीर्तन और भक्तिमय परिक्रमाएं करती मायापुर में, जगन्नाथपुरी में और वहाँ के आसपास के और इलाकों में। It's been so wonderful, and I also want to check if we've started getting questions from our audiences. Let me just do that as well. And yes. So, can you tell us what are your hobbies? I mean, of course, you love doing what you're doing for kids, but what is your hobby, or how do you like keeping yourself busy otherwise also?
I like to like music a lot, so I like to sing, and
Really?
yeah,
Wow.
I mean, I like playing harmonium. I like to, I mean, I do like to dance, but anyways, and I like to read and journal. Like I like to do crafts, like creative things, and like calligraphy, like lettering. So yeah, I like to do those things, and I like to play games too and have fun, like with friends. Like be with friends.
You seem to love to do so much. I mean, uh, yeah, that's really a big long list that you've just given. And I'm just going to make a quick announcement now before I carry forward with our conversation. देवी और सज्जनों, आप गौरांगी जी से जो प्रश्न पूछना चाहते हैं, वो आप अभी लाइव चैट में डाल सकते हैं, ताकि हम इनसे आपके भी प्रश्नों की प्रश्न इनसे इनसे पूछ सकें। और जो भी प्रश्न आपके मन में हो, ये एक 25 साल की युवती हैं जो हैं तो विदेशी, लेकिन जिनका हृदय पूरी तरह से हिंदुस्तानी है। और अगर आप इनसे कुछ भक्ति के बारे में जानना चाहें, या जो सेवा ये कर रही हैं बच्चों के लिए, उन्हें प्रेरणा दे रही हैं भक्ति में आगे बढ़ने के लिए, उसके बारे में अगर आप कुछ जानना चाहें, तो आप ज़रूर हमें अपने प्रश्न पूछ सकते हैं लाइव चैट में। एंड right, so you spoke about so many of these um, creative hobbies that you've got. So you mentioned dancing. Are you a trained dancer, or
No, I mean, I wanted to learn Bharatanatyam, but
right?
somehow I mean, I had like a teacher, but then, anyways, it didn't work out. So no, I'm not a trained dancer.
Right. And you can play the harmonium, you said?
Yeah, I can play harmonium and mridanga and kartal. Like those are the three instruments.
Wow, wow. Do you want to sing like a little bit for us? No harmonium or kartal, but do you want to do a little very short kirtan for us, like 2 minutes?
Okay, sure.
All right.
It's just kind of yeah, it's harder online because you don't hear anyone repeating.
I'll repeat.
Okay. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama,
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Oh, this is sweet. Thank you, thank you. This is so sweet. And we've got some questions, so I think we'll start taking some questions from our viewers as well. And I do have two more questions for you. So before we close, I'm going to again ask you two more questions. Yeah, but before that, we'll start taking some questions from the viewers. Okay, so let's see what's coming up for us. Okay, we've got a first question, Gourangi, that is Virendra ji. He says, what similarities and differences you found between US and India in terms of material and spiritual advancement? So, Virendra, who's one of our viewers, is asking, did you find any similarities or differences between, US and India in terms of material and spiritual advancement? Could you do material advancement better there or here, or could you do spiritual advancement better there or here?
I mean, I would say that like holy places like in India, like Mayapur, Vrindavan, Dwarka, like Mathura, it's more easier for spiritual advancement because it's more like spiritually, recharged, and Krishna's pastimes happen there, and for your like like your sadhana. But like one thing that is amazing that Srila Prabhupada in the West, he also created temples. So, and these temples, he said, these temples are also like holy places. And wherever there are devotees, Krishna said, wherever there are devotees, I'm there. So I I just think it's, yeah, I wouldn't say, I mean, I don't know how to explain. Like the holy places are definitely are easier for your spiritual life, but I think, yeah, how I was saying, like we can be Krishna conscious wherever we are. Like that's the beauty of bhakti. That doesn't matter where you are, or if you're a girl or boy or anything. Like anyone can take up Krishna consciousness.
वेरी वेरी ब्यूटीफुल. तो दोस्तों, इन्होंने कहा कि प्रश्न था कि हिंदुस्तान और विदेशों में, मतलब यूएस में, क्या सिमिलैरिटी और डिफरेंस नजर आया है मटेरियल और स्पिरिचुअल एडवांसमेंट में. तो उसके उत्तर में इन्होंने कहा कि अगर आप किसी भी धाम में रहते हैं, और हिंदुस्तान में इतने सारे धाम हैं, अगर आप किसी भी धाम में रहते हैं तो वहाँ भक्ति करना आपके लिए बहुत सरल हो जाता है, क्योंकि वहाँ के हर कण कण में प्रभु का वास है, प्रभु का निवास है. और वैसे कृष्ण भक्ति एक ऐसा प्रोसेस है जिसे आप कहीं पर भी रहकर सरलता से कर सकते हैं, किंतु अगर आप धाम में हो तो बहुत सरल हो जाता है. So very beautiful. We'll go for our next question that is coming to us from Satya. Satya ji says, will you be writing more spiritual books for children?
Yes. Actually, there's two that we're working on right now. One is about, it's actually a surprise. So this is the first time I'm saying it, but we're doing a an activity book all about Krishna. So and so it'll be actually like 100 pages and different activities to do, like different stories. What are Krishna's, like many people don't know that Krishna also has pets, and Krishna has like dog pets, swan, peacock. So like it'll be lots of fun activities about Lord Krishna. And then I'm also working on the second part of Becoming Your Devotee, the book that I showed. But we have many plans for children.
ओह, दैट्स अमेजिंग। तो बहुत सारी पुस्तकों पे अभी काम कर रही हैं। 2 पुस्तकें इन्होंने अभी हमें बताई हैं, लेकिन बहुत सारी पुस्तकों पे अभी और काम ये कर रही हैं। That's so wonderful to hear. And yes, Krishna has pets and they have such beautiful names. Yeah, I mean, I could remember some of them the minute you just said that Krishna's got pets. It's so sweet. All right, let's try and take our next question. That is, Mani Mandala ji says, how youth can join Krishna consciousness? They cut themselves from all others. Yeah, so Mani Mandala ji is trying to ask, how can the youth join Krishna consciousness? Uh, I I didn't understand the second part of it so well, but if you've understood, you could pick it up. But yes, the first one is, how can you join Krishna consciousness? How can the youth join Krishna consciousness?
Well, I know like in India there are so many like youth out many youth programs. And I mean, I think the first connection would be to meet devotees, other devotees, and then there must, I mean, usually around the world we have like different temples, so like that you can like have your connection.
Yeah.
But I don't think you have to cut away from. I mean, I also didn't understand that question properly, but I don't think we have to cut away from, our families. Like, I'm never going to see you again. I'm going to be a devotee. So, yeah, I mean, we shouldn't like reject or neglect our
Sure.
family. Also, like, for example, I know in India, I'm thinking Chopati,
Yeah.
like, I mean, this is what I heard, that all the students that join, first they have to finish their studies,
Yeah.
then also support their parents. It's
Yeah.
not like, oh, now I'm going to, be a devotee and I forget about my parents, you
Yeah.
know. So, yeah, it's important not to neglect our family, like in the
Yes.
name of spiritual life.
Yes. Yes. That's so beautiful. In fact, I think once you actually get into a spiritual process, you start taking your relationships more seriously, because you start valuing another person as at the level of a soul, and not just another person, right? You're not looking at them as someone who's giving you pleasure and you're using them as a as an object in your life, but to
Yeah.
just move ahead. But you start making more sense of your relationship, so
Yeah,
that's
because
really nice.
Krishna is in everyone's heart. So, and we should treat everyone with respect and with love and compassion.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. So, Mani Mandala ji, answer to your question. I hope you've received. आशा करते हैं आपको अपने प्रश्न का उत्तर मिला होगा। एंड इन्होंने कहा कि कोई भी व्यक्ति अगर भक्ति ज्वाइन करना चाहे, अगर कोई यूथ ज्वाइन करना चाहे, तो वो मंदिर से जाके संपर्क कर सकते हैं। और ऐसा बिल्कुल नहीं होना चाहिए कि उन्हें भक्ति में आने के लिए अपने रिश्तों से या अपने रिश्तेदारों से कट ऑफ होना पड़े। ऐसा बिल्कुल नहीं होना चाहिए। अपितु हर व्यक्ति में कृष्ण को देखकर हमें उस रिश्ते को और सुंदर और सुदृढ़ बनाना चाहिए। That was so nice. Let's take our next question. That's coming to us from Naveen Kumar. He says, okay, there's there's a question with a twist, and this is our favorite question, right? I mean, I think Indians love this question, and the question is, will you marry?
Wait, will I get married? I mean, yes, like, yeah, yes. If Krishna wants, yeah.
Sure, sure. That's so sweet. If Krishna wants, you'd get married. Shall we send you some proposals already? I mean,
I mean, I would like to have a family. I mean, I would like to have children. So I mean, yes, I would like to get married.
Of course, you would love to have children, and that's going to inspire you to write more books for all of us, and it's so nice. All right, so let's take our next question. That's coming from Pankaj G. Says, my wife expired, so I feel alone in this world. मैं क्या करूं? Please suggest me how. Please suggest me now. Hare Krishna. Okay. So Pankaj Ji says that his wife left this world a couple of years ago, I guess, or some time back, and he feels really lonely in this world, and he wants to understand what should he do to feel um, pacified or sobered.
Well, this is difficult question. I mean, yeah, I haven't gone through such a, intense situation. So I feel,
Yes,
I mean, I will pray
yes,
for you, Prabhu.
ah,
Um, I mean, there's so many difficulties and like problems that come up. I mean, because we live in this world, and
right,
I mean, I haven't gone through like a serious problem, like like this. But usually, I mean, I like to take shelter in things that will inspire me. Like, so I take shelter like doing kirtan, and
yes,
I feel like that kind of is more pacifying. Also, speaking to like senior
yes,
devotees and expressing, of course, expressing yourself.
mm,
And I
yeah,
mean, to find that, I mean, I know many devotees that have gone through like many difficult situations.
yeah,
So it does, I mean, it is very difficult, but to try to find some like solace and peace
mm,
in,
yeah,
yeah, like kirtan or other
sure.
process that will engage your mind more.
Sure, sure. Yes, I think what you just mentioned does does make a lot of sense and can help a person in some way. पंकज जी, इन्होंने अभी जो कहा कि सबसे पहले हम सब की तरफ से, हरे कृष्णा टीवी की तरफ से और हम सब की तरफ से हम बहुत सहानुभूति और कंडोलेंसेस देते हैं आपको इस लॉस के लिए, और हम हमारी प्रार्थना है कि आप इस लॉस से जल्दी उबर कर आ सकें। और ये जो अभी जो स्थिति है जिससे आप गुजर रहे हैं, इसमें आपको किसी चीज़ का आश्रय लेना बहुत आवश्यक है, और वो आश्रय अगर आप हरि नाम का ले सकें तो इससे उत्तम और कुछ नहीं हो सकता। तो अगर आप कीर्तन में अपने आप को लगा सकें, अ, वो बहुत अच्छा शायद हो सकता है आपके लिए आश्रय लेने के लिए। और अगर आप कुछ भक्त अगर आपको ऐसे मिलें जिनसे आप अपने हृदय को शेयर कर सकें, वो बहुत सुंदर हो सकता है, क्योंकि एक भक्त आपको नया मार्ग या आगे बढ़ने का मार्ग प्रेम पूर्वक दिखा सकता है, समझा सकता है। तो हम फिर से हमारी हमारी बहुत सारी सहानुभूति आपके साथ, और हम आशा करते हैं कि आप जल्दी इस फेज से आगे बढ़ सकें। Yes, and we'll take our next question now, which is coming to us from आशुतोष जी। कहते हैं, हरे कृष्णा, भक्ति की स्टार्टिंग कैसे करें? आई एम आशुतोष मिश्रा फ्रॉम दिल्ली, आई एम अ सीए फाइनल स्टूडेंट। Okay, we've got Ashutosh Mishra. He's a CA final student. He lives in Delhi, New Delhi. And he says, how do I start off on this path of bhakti? What's the starting point? How do I start off? How do I kickstart?
I mean, so I think like there are like five, they're like main processes of, Krishna consciousness, of bhakti. So one of them is, chanting, which, chanting japa. So even if maybe you're busy and you can't chant so many rounds, but even if you chant just like 1 or 2 rounds of japa every day. Also, another thing is like listening. So like Shravanam, to hear like different classes about Krishna and Bhakti. And also you can like read the Bhagavad Gita as it is. So these are like some like starting points and associating with devotees.
वंडरफुल। तो आशा करते हैं आशुतोष जी आपको अपने प्रश्न का उत्तर मिला होगा। इन्होंने 4-5 जो वेरियस वेज हैं जो आप कर सकते हैं, वो सारी आपको अभी बखान करके बताई हैं, सिंपल वे में बताई हैं। अगर आप कुछ नहीं कर सकते तो सिर्फ अगर आप एक माला जप करना शुरू कर सकें हर रोज नियम से, तो वो भी बहुत सुंदर होगा। और फिर अगर आप श्रवण कर सकते हैं, जिस तरह से आप अभी हम लोगों को सुन रहे हैं, अगर आप भक्तिमय कोई भी चीज को सुनना शुरू करेंगे तो उससे बहुत 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 लाभ होगा, बहुत तीव्रता से आप आगे बढ़ने का प्रयास कर सकते हैं फिर। और ये जो आप कर रहे हैं अभी, ये जो आप हमें भी हरे कृष्णा टीवी पर सुन रहे हैं, ये भी यू ऑलरेडी स्टार्टेड, यू मेड अ स्टार्ट of your process of bhakti by logging on to Hare Krishna TV and watching this, right?
Yes.
So, right, okay, so let's take the next question that's coming from Sunil Kumar. He says, Mataji, any problems you faced in India for performing spiritual practices? Okay, so Sunil ji is asking, did you face any problems in India for performing spiritual practices? And maybe he's also probably trying to understand from the fact that since you are a Western bodied devotee, I mean, did you face any particular problems while you were here in India, trying to achieve your spiritual goals?
I can't like think of any like problems that
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I can't think of any problems I faced. I mean, I guess you could say I don't speak Bengali or Hindi, so sometimes it's kind of hard, or sometimes, because I'm white, so rickshaws will be more costly, or things like this. But no, I mean, I haven't faced a serious problem like India because of being a devotee.
Right, right. Yes, talk about rickshaws being costly, and I think they're very smart at understanding if this person is a native of that place or not, and if they're not, then you've had it. तो सुनील कुमार जी, इन्हें कोई दिक्कत नहीं हुई भारत में, थैंकफुली हमारी लाज रह गई भक्ति करने में. And so, did you ever think, or have you ever got that inclination to learn Hindi?
I was learning Bengali when I was small, and
Wow,
then I understand a little Bengali, but I can't
right,
speak it. I think because in Mayapur, many speak English, or even like Bengali devotees, they also most of them speak English as well. So I never really like learn. I want to learn, but I think I'm just slow at learning languages.
right. It doesn't look like from how you've described yourself that you'd be a slow learner, but yes.
For languages.
Is there anything that you can speak in Hindi? Like, is
No, I can't. No, Hindi, I don't know anything.
except Namaste? Do you know Namaste?
Namaste.
Oh yes, there you go. You know how to start a conversation. Namaste. That's the start of a conversation. Right. Wonderful. Wonderful. Okay, so yes, we've got another question, and let's take that up. Maday Rajji says, after reading Gita, I became vegetarian, but my family say me to buy eggs from shop for my brother. Then I have to do this. Is it okay for me? So Maday Rajji says that he read the Bhagavad Gita, and after reading that, he got transformed and he's become a vegetarian. But his family still asks him to do some chores, like maybe go and buy eggs from the shop. So he wants to know, is that okay if I still do that for my family while I'm not eating it myself?
Um, God, this. I would. I don't want to say anything that's. I mean, philosophically wrong. So, I mean,
Yeah.
I think it's. Oh God, what would you say, Savita? I don't want to say something wrong. Give wrong advice.
Okay, so I would say, yeah, and this is what I would say. So I could be wrong. Um, uh, if I'm in a situation like this, I would maybe try to avoid doing that, because I'm obviously not consuming it myself, because I feel for that cause, right? I probably don't feel right doing it. And if that is the thing, then I would try and avoid doing it, because if I did do it, it would keep bothering me all the time, maybe, like keep making me feel that why did I do it, that conscious inside would keep hurting. But at the same time, if my family would, really say that there's no one and you have to do it, you have to do it, maybe in a slow progression. So I would keep slowly and softly telling them that I don't like doing this, but maybe for the beginning, first few whatever time, I would do it, and slowly eventually just get out of not doing it, like stand firm to not doing it. And that's what I would do.
Yeah, I agree with you. Okay, so
Yes.
we answered that question.
Yeah, because I think, making a transition, and let's say if you've been eating non-veg as well, and suddenly to make that transformation and to show people that what you're doing now is wrong, but you've been doing that as well all your life. So I think
Yeah,
it's important that you give people the space to grow out of it, and you can tell them your feelings that, I'm not okay with it now, and then stand firm to it after some time.
yeah.
That's what I would do. तो हम आशा करते हैं आपके प्रश्न का हमने उत्तर दिया होगा. And okay, so we're not going to be taking any more questions. Questions from the viewers have exhausted, but you still have me, the culprit, who's got some questions for you. Okay, and I've got these two questions, and one of them is, I think, so because of your personality, and because of the seva that you're doing currently. So many people that try to do bhakti, and so many people that actually watch and come on Hare Krishna TV actually tell us that it's difficult to chant. I mean, and of course, trying to focus your mind on something is always difficult. But I want to know from you, is there a way chanting can be made more joyful, like especially, for youth? Or is there a way it can be fun? I mean, is there a thought that you can tell your mind, and uh, as a beginner, right? I mean, because it takes time to catch on to something. So is there a thought that you can tell your mind as a beginner, and then make that fun or a happy process to start off?
Yeah, I think, I mean, for me, I mean, chanting japa, I do have, yeah, because it's hard to control the mind. And, for like 1.5 to 2 hours. So, I mean, for me, what makes it more easy and actually it completely changes my japa is if I chant in the association of devotees, it's easier for me. Or listening to Srila Prabhupada chanting while I
Yeah,
chant, like because I know not everyone can go to the temple or not
yeah,
around, but now through internet, like we can access almost anything. So yeah, listening to Srila Prabhupada while chanting or with devotees, for me, it really helps me. Because then alone, I start, I mean, sometimes like spacing out. And if you're at home, it's like you have so many distractions around you and easy to like pick up your phone or anything. So, I mean, I think for me, that's what helps me a lot.
sure, sure. जी, so दोस्तों, अपने चैंटिंग को, जपा को किस तरह से आप अपने लिए आसान बना सकते हैं, उसका उत्तर इन्होंने ये दिया कि अगर आप भक्तों के संग में बैठ के जपा करें, तो वो बहुत आसानी से फिर होता है, क्योंकि इतने सारे लोगों की एनर्जी एक तो आपके साथ होती है, प्लस एक दूसरे को देखकर आप बहुत प्रेरित होते हैं। और दूसरा, इन्होंने कहा, अगर आप वो भी नहीं कर सकते हैं कभी, बिकॉज जो कोविड रिस्ट्रिक्शंस हैं, या शायद आपके आसपास अगर कोई भक्त नहीं है, तो आप ऑनलाइन श्रील प्रभुपाद का जो जपा होता है उसे चलाकर वो साथ में सुनते सुनते, तो जैसे ऐसा आपको मतलब अंदर से भी प्रतीत होता है कि प्रभुपाद आपके साथ जप कर रहे हैं, और आप प्रभुपाद जी के सानिध्य में बैठकर जप कर रहे हैं, तो उससे आपको बहुत लाभ हो सकता है. I think this was wonderful. Thank you for sharing this. And one last question that's on my mind yet. I know you've answered this in many ways through the course of our conversation, but uh, what is a message that you want to um give our viewers today, and especially the youth? We're all ears to know, what's the message that you have for us?
I would say that just like try your best and try to, adopt this bhakti yoga. And that I assure you, and I can promise you, okay, I'm 25, I'm not that old, but in 25 years, I don't have a day that is boring in Krishna consciousness or in bhakti. Like every day, it's like fun, an adventure. I just, like, so happy. And I really would like to share that with all of you. And I hope that you can also find that same joy. So you can, if you can, like join you can, if you're in Mira Road, and if, I don't know if it's open now, but if there's a Kirtan Mela, go to that. It'll transform your life. And yeah, just try to adopt this Krishna consciousness, bhakti yoga, and your best. And Krishna will reward you with so much love and so much blessings.
Wow, that's so beautiful. That's coming from a young 25-year-old soul. And what you've just said is so beautiful. तो दोस्तों ये कहती हैं कि इस 25 वर्ष की आयु में या आपको इतना पूरे कॉन्फिडेंस के साथ कह सकती हैं कि भक्ति करने से आपका कुछ नुकसान नहीं होगा, अपितु आपका लाभ होगा। और ये कह रही हैं आप कृष्ण भक्ति को कीजिए और कृष्ण आपको बहुत सारे आशीष, बहुत सारे आशीर्वाद देंगे। और इतने वर्षों में आज तक इन्होंने एक भी दिन नीरसता भरा नहीं जिया है भक्ति में आने के बाद। और वही रस, वही आनंद, वही खुशी ये आप सबको मिले, ऐसा इनका ऐसा इनका शुभ आशीष है हम सब के लिए। और इसीलिए कहती हैं कि ट्राई योर लेवल बेस्ट, जो भी आप प्रयास कर सकते हैं वो कीजिए भक्ति में आने के लिए, और फिर आप बहुत आनंद का अनुभव करेंगे। This is so beautiful. I mean, actually, every time you speak and wherever you speak, it's so much from your heart. I don't know if I'm able to translate it or paraphrase it, with that feeling and honesty, but it's beautiful to hear what you say.
I love hearing you speak with so much like conviction and enthusiasm. Nice.
Sure. And all right, this brings us to the end of our conversation this evening. It's been such a pleasure talking to you, to hear your views, to see your conviction, to see your gratitude for Srila Prabhupada, and to know why you're doing what you're doing. Uh, it's so beautiful to see all of this coming from such a young person. Fills me up with a lot of excitement and enthusiasm as well, and gives me the hope and confidence that Krishna consciousness is forever going to be a joyful journey with wonderful devotees like you around in it.
Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to be here at Hare Krishna TV. It's amazing, and I had a really nice time. And thank you so much, Savita.
Thank you. It's been wonderful talking, and I hope you write many more books. And I hope the whole world, children across the world, can become Krishna conscious by reading these books and by buying these books of yours. Thank you so much. We'd love to speak to you again.
Thank you so much. It was an honor.
We'd love to do a kids activity session with you sometime. I'm sure we'd love to do that.
Okay, let's do it.
We plan that soon, and we're going to invite you. Thank you so much. Lovely talking to you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
225 वर्ष की आयु, एक विदेशी लड़की जो भारत को अपना सब कुछ मानती है, भारत की सभ्यता में इस तरह से रंग गई है, इस तरह से रम गई है कि उसे और कुछ अच्छा नहीं लगता। यहाँ से जाना उसे लगता है कि मेरा दिल रुदन कर रहा है अगर मुझे यहाँ से जाने को कहा जाए। उसके मन में एक ही इंस्पिरेशन है, एक ही भाव है, वो है कृतज्ञता का। और वो कृतज्ञता है श्रील प्रभुपाद के प्रति, जिन्होंने वृद्धावस्था में हिंदुस्तान को छोड़कर एक यात्रा की, विदेशी देशों में जाने की एक यात्रा की, और वहां जाकर के इन सब लोगों को, विदेशी लोगों को बचा लिया। ऐसा इनका भाव है। और उस कृतज्ञता को व्यक्त करने के लिए, प्रकट करने के लिए ये हर किस्म की सेवा करने का प्रयास कर रही हैं। और जो 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 इन्होंने सेवा का वो माध्यम चुना है वो है बच्चों को भक्ति के राह पर लेकर जाना, जो कि बहुत कठिन लगता है, हम सबको भी कठिन लगता है, माता पिताओं को कठिन लगता है, और वो इतना जरूरी है क्योंकि अगर ये बच्चे आज भक्ति के संस्कार इन्हें मिल जाएंगे तो ये कुछ ऐसे युवा बनेंगे जिनके हाथ में न केवल इनका जीवन बल्कि हमारा देश, ये सारा भविष्य सुरक्षित रहेगा। ये इसी शुभ कामना के साथ कि हम सब एक प्रयास कर सकें कृष्ण की ओर बढ़ने का, हम सब एक प्रयास कर सकें अपने मन की, अपने अंदर की कृतज्ञता को व्यक्त करने का, इसी शुभ कामना के साथ आशा करते हैं कि हम सब इस भक्तिमय प्रोसेस को ले सकेंगे। और अब देखते हैं अगर कल के लिए हमारे पास कोई अनाउंसमेंट अगर है तो वो भी आपके साथ शेयर कर दें। लेकिन सबसे पहले आपको फिर से एक बार याद दिलाना चाहेंगे कि जो हमारा भगवत गीता कोर्स हो रहा है गीता जयंती के उपलक्ष्य में, कृपया करके आप इसका लाभ उठाइए। ये मधुसूदन विष्णु दास द्वारा होगा, जो कि बीटेक हैं एनआईटी में। 18 दिसंबर से इस कोर्स का प्रारंभ होगा। हर शनिवार और रविवार ठीक शाम 6:30 से 8 बजे तक होगा। ये हिंदी में है तो आप सभी इसका लाभ उठा सकते हैं, और ये निशुल्क है। 19 सेशन, 90 मिनट के 19 सेशन होंगे। आपको समझाया जाएगा और उसके बाद आप प्रश्न उत्तर भी होंगे आप सबके साथ। तो इसका प्लीज लाभ उठाइए, और हमारी शुभकामनाएं आप सभी के साथ भक्ति के इस सुंदर पथ पर अग्रसर रहने के लिए। कल फिर आपसे मुलाकात होगी, तब तक के लिए अपना ध्यान रखिएगा और हरे कृष्णा।